Now you can always get smaller than the eighth note. You don't have to stop here. And the way you do that is this. You simply just keep doubling the name, of course. So whole goes to half, half goes to quarter, quarter goes to eighth. You cut eighth in half and you get a 16th. 16th. And the note simply looks like this. So what we did is you have your note head, you have your stem again, and you have two flags now instead of just one flag. You have two flags. If you write it like this, you would get this, where you get two flags there. Okay. This one, of course, gets half of that, so that would be a fourth, and we keep going down. And again, same thing here, just add another flag, and you get the 16th rest. Okay, so 16th note, 16th rest. Okay. In fact, you can keep going. You can do 30-second note, sometimes written like this, just 30-second note. And it looks like this. You just take your note and you add another flag. Take your note head, make a stem, add another flag, and this wouldn't get half of that, so that's 1/8. Okay. And then you simply do this, keep going like this. And in fact, you can keep going forever and ever and ever, and you can go like a note and keep going. That's an eighth, so 16, 30, 8, 16, 30 seconds, 64, 128, 256, and you can keep going forever. Same thing with the rest here. You can just keep adding flags that make them pretty and stuff. Okay, but I mean, you probably won't really see much beyond 30-second. These are really small, so you don't really need to worry about too much more than that. Okay, so let's see how these work. Just like we had before, we can start with our time signature with 4/4, and here we have the quarter note. Okay, so this gets, as we know, is 1, just 1. So if you had a bunch of these in a row, it'd go 1, 1, 1, 1, just with your beat. Okay, and then you can put eighth notes in here. So eighth notes would look like this. We saw this before. Just a little bit of review. You just have 1, and, or I guess this would be 2, and. Okay, so 1, 2, and 1. 2 and 16th notes, if you put a bunch of them together, look like this, just like you can take your eighth notes and throw them into this. You can do 16th notes just like this. 16th notes, you draw 4 of them, and you go like this. And those, so right now they look like eighth notes, right? So this is how you make them look like 16th notes. Just add another bar there, and then they become 16th notes. The way you count them is like this. This is our third beat, 1, 2, and 3, right? And then we go 3, and the way I learned is 3E and like this. So 3E and So you go 1, 2, and 3E and 1, 2, and 3E and 1, 1, 1, and 1, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, right? So you got all of it right in there. You can imagine we're essentially adding notes right here and here and making our 16th notes like this, right? So then we can do a fourth beat of, let's just do another quarter note. Or we can do our 30-second notes. Watch this. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you connect them all like this. Those are eighth notes. These are 16th notes. And finally, we have 30-second notes. Okay, so this would be 4. Your and, let's write the stuff we do know. Our and is here. You can see that we have 4 here and 4 here. So this is definitely where the middle point goes. You can imagine we have them like this. So 2, and then 3, and then another 1, and then 3, right? So we have that. Okay. And this would be 4. The E goes here, just like here. You can imagine we have this going on. Okay. 4, E, and Now, as for these, I don't really know what to call them. So sorry about that, guys. It's kind of hard to count that small anyway, so maybe if you know one, please let me know, or otherwise that's okay. So we have 4, E, and so this is 8 in the place of 1. So you would go 1, 2, and 3, E, and 4, right? Really fast. So 1, 2, and 3, and 3, E, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the time of 1, right? And that's how you have these work together. Now, there's one more thing we can see, because we can put a dot on all of these. If we put a dot on all of these notes, even on this one, I guess, you can figure out the math on these and how much they will equal and how to put them into your measures. Let's make a new measure and play with these. Okay, so if you had an eighth note like this and you put a dot, remember the eighth note is a half a beat, and then this equals half of whatever it's attached to, so that would be plus 1/4. Half of a half is 1/4, and this together equals 3/4. 3/4 of a beat. So if you wanted to make one beat, maybe we have one beat per measure, and we have 4, like this, and here's our line. You only have one beat to work with, right? So you would do this, and you could put your dot. Let's make everything color coded. And so this is our 1 E, and just like we saw here, right here, it's this much. It's this much. It's 3/4 of a beat. 3/4 of a beat. Right? And so we need to fill out one beat. So how can we do that? We have to add 1/4. Which one is 1/4? Oh, that's this thing here, right? So 1/4 looks like this. Oops. We could do we could do a rest as well. That would be fine. But let's make it more interesting. Let's make sound go. Okay, so it would look like this, and you would have 1/4 here. Okay, so this would be a full beat, and then so this would be your A. So 1 E and 1 E and ba 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 like that. Okay, and you would be able to make really interesting music this way, I'm sure. So this one, let's just do the math of these. We'll finish up here. Okay, so 1/4 plus 1/2 of that is 1/4 plus 1/8, and this equals 3/8. 3/8 of a beat. And then finally you have 1/8 plus half of that is 1/16, and then you add them together and you get 3/16. 3/16. A lot of fun.